Hey everyone, if I said to you Toys R Us, what comes to mind? So if you were born between the 80s and 90s, Toys R Us would have been the go-to place for you on the weekends to go check out all the new toys and make a mental list of what kind of items you wanted for your upcoming birthday or Christmas. So if you fast forward to 2018, this is no longer the case with the closure of all its stores in the US as well as the UK and Australia operations as well. So what happened to Toys R Us? How can it go from the biggest toy shop in the world, the biggest brand, the one that all the kids knew about, to something that no longer exists? So let's wind back the clock to the beginning. And Toys R Us was founded in 1948 by founder Charles Lazarus in Washington, D.C. Toys R Us itself didn't start off with selling toys, but instead it sold baby furniture. But the owner quickly noticed something important, that parents kept coming back, not for cribs or furniture, but actually for toys themselves. So by the 1950s, after seeing this opportunity, they shifted their focus entirely on toys. And by 1957, they officially became Toys R Us. So what made Toys R Us stand out? So it's very revolutionary that they began a big box format. So instead of selling a small toys with limited stock, Toys R Us offered one, it was massive warehouse style stores, huge variety of discount prices, and toys stacked floor to ceiling. So this model was unheard of at the time and it actually worked. So in its golden era in the 1980s and 90s, Toys R Us became unstoppable. So at the peak, it operated 1,500 stores worldwide. It expanded to Europe, Asia, Australia, and the Middle East, and it became the largest toy retailer on earth. So just to emphasize how big Toys R Us became, they didn't just sell toys, they shaped trends. So if a toy was big at Toys R Us, it became a big everywhere. And if you look back, you can remember some of these toys that lived in the memories of people growing up in those eras. So from this, the company started to take advantage and they started to expand. They expanded with both Baby R Us, Kids R Us, and also exclusive toy lines and partnerships as well. And not only that, they created the iconic Geoffrey the Giraffe, which became one of the most recognizable mascots in retail history. For many families, going to Toys R Us wasn't just shopping, it was an event and something that you would look forward to as a child. Despite its success, cracks began forming in the late 1990s and early 2000s. So one of the biggest mistakes that they had was underestimating online shopping. In 2000, Toys R Us partnered with Amazon, allowing Amazon to handle its online sales. At the time, this seemed smart, but it proved to be disastrous. Amazon learned the toy business, and Toys R Us failed to capitalize on it and build its own online platform. The partnership eventually ended, and Toys R Us found itself years behind its competitors. Walmart and Target sold toys cheaper, Amazon offered more convenience and faster shipping. Consumers themselves, their habits changed rapidly. However, Toys R Us, they stayed the same. So the real downfall came in 2005 when Toys R Us was bought out in a leveraged buyout by a private equity firm for $6.6 billion. Now here's the problem. Most of that purchase was financed with debt. Debt Toys R Us itself had to repay. Suddenly, the company was burdened by over $5 billion in debt, massive interest payments every year, and less money to invest in store upgrades, tech, and innovation itself. So instead of evolving, Toys R Us became stuck, just trying to survive. Stores became outdated, online presence lagged, and customer experience fell behind its competitors. In 2017, Toys R Us filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in the US, hoping to restructure and stay alive. But this wasn't enough. And in 2018, the company announced that it was closing all of its US stores, closing stores in the UK and Australia operations as well, and tens of thousands of job losses worldwide. For many, it felt like an end of an era. Empty shelves, clearance sales, and the final goodbye signs. A brand once defined by childhood was gone. But here's the twist. Toys R Us didn't disappear everywhere. In several countries, the brand was operated by independent licensees, not the US parent company, and that saved them. As of today, Toys R Us still operates in Japan, Canada, South Korea, parts of Southeast Asia, selected and Middle East countries as well. Why did these stores survive? They survived because they had less debt, adapted faster for e-commerce, and modernized their stores and experiences, and focused on family entertainment and not just retail. In some regions, Toys R Us became thriving again, proving the brand itself wasn't the problem. In recent years, Toys R Us has made a small comeback attempts. Pop-up stores, partnerships, and even limited US locations inside other retailers have appeared. But it's quite clear, the brand no longer dominates. It survives on nostalgia alone. It is not what the empire once was. Anyway, let me know what is your best memories from Toys R Us in the comments below.